Hi everybody, today is April 3rd, 2020. I wanted to come on and see how you guys were doing. Hope you guys are keeping a positive attitude and maybe getting a little exercise in. I came across this book the other day. I've had it for years. So this is another mastery book. I showed you the one that I was led to find. This one is the opposite. The other one had pages, paragraphs underlined and dog ears and stuff. This one didn't have any of that, and it had just one page dog-eared. And I opened it to that page, and I'm like, yes, this is really good. This section called Breath and Feeling. And it's funny because I read it probably a couple weeks ago, and I thought, wow, that's really good. And yesterday, or no, I think it was the day before, I made a video, and it was about keto and intermittent fasting. And at the end, I show what my arms look like. So if you didn't watch it all the way to the end, you get to see what my arm looks like today. I just did my right arm. So anyway, in that video, I also talked about, probably about midway or so, about when you train from the inside or you train from the outside. And, and the inhale. The inhale during working out. You have your exhale and your inhale. And the clients that I train a lot of times want to rush the inhale. They want to, say, doing a curl, for instance, you come up and then they come down and they don't straighten their arm out all the way. They stop the curl before they come all the way down. When you do that, you're not allowing your inhale to be full. This is your exhale, this is your inhale. So when you exhale and inhale and you stop it sooner than before you get all the way down with your arms straight, you're shortening your inhale. And when you shorten your inhale, you're not getting in all that clean air to get you ready for the next rep. So the reps that you do in that set are going to be limited. You're going to fail before you really have to. To me, when you're working out, like when I did it big time back in the 80s and 90s, my goal was to try to take a set. Well, I didn't feel this way in the beginning, because in the beginning I was trying to find my own way of training that made sense to me. It just didn't make sense to me to do 3 sets of 12 reps or, 5 sets of 20 reps, or, to have like a set number like that for all the sets. That just didn't make sense to me. So I found my own way after a few years of working out. And my way is, I believe you should make each set count. And in order to make each set count, you want to take that set as far as you can. That includes the inhale. The inhale is what helps you to do that. So the exhale, you're getting rid of that stale air. So this is when you're breathing deep from your belly. When you're inside your body, you're embodied. You're breathing deep. You're getting that exhale from down here, not just off the top of your chest. You're in your body and down. That causes you to breathe from your diaphragm, breathe deep. So that exhale, when you're coming up, your belly goes in. That's the exhale. That helps you to get rid of all the stale air that are in your lungs. As you come down, you inhale to take in the clean air to get ready to explode off the bottom. So that clean air that you're taking in is giving you the energy to explode on the next rep. This is very important, or comes in handy, when you are getting to the point in your set where you're starting to get really tired, the muscles wanting to fail. The air, the clean air, and taking in enough air helps you to do another rep or 2 reps or 3 reps, 4 reps, whatever it is. It's all about the breathing. So the negative part of the motion, so this is the positive part, this is the negative part. The negative part of the motion is just as important as the positive part. So anyway, I mentioned a little bit of that, yes, or in the last video, I think it was 2 days ago. I mentioned a little bit of that. I don't remember exactly what I said now, but I know I talked about the inhale a little bit and how the clients that I've trained, or even people I see in the gym, they rush that part, and that inhale is very important if you want to get the best results possible. So if you want to be your strongest, and if you want to get your best results, and to me, like, the best results is being able to take a set farther and not failing during that set because you run out of air or strength. I think your strength and your power comes from your air and the way that you breathe and how well you breathe and how well you're listening to your body. And I came across a couple weeks ago too, because I think it's about the mind, body, and the spirit. But the spirit to me equals breath. So mind, body, and breath. And I think I talked about this a couple videos ago. You want to get the mind-body connection, bring the mind and body together, and I think you connect it through the breath. That's what helps to bring it together. And the breath actually is spirit, or the Holy Spirit. And I thought that was interesting. It's like, yes, that makes sense. And then when I read this in this book, and I just read it again before I started the video, and it's breath and feeling. Let me put my glasses on so I can see it better. Inspiration, in addition to its usual definition, also means to breathe in. The breath is a key to your emotional state because it both reflects and affects your level of tension. And I think that's so true, because when you're inhaling and exhaling, so when you're coming up and exhaling, if you come down and you don't inhale all the way, so you're stopping your arm before it goes all the way down, you're keeping that tension, it cuts off your breath. It stops your breath. It stops your inhale short, and you keep that tension there. So this just said the breath is key to your emotional state because it reflects and affects your level of tension. So if you're keeping too much tension, you're not allowing that full inhale by going all the way down. So the muscle's still tight, so it kind of keeps you like you're holding your breath and then you go up. If you train that way and you're not coming all the way down, yeah, you're keeping tension in the muscle, but you're not going to be able to take that set as far as you can. I think you need the air. You need to be able to breathe. So, you come up, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So you get to the point where it starts to get hard. Exhale, inhale. Sometimes you need to take an extra breath before you go again. Every time you breathe like that, you're recentering yourself in your body, because the physical tension is going to take you off center after a certain point, and you need to breathe and catch your breath and get recentered again. So you're regrouping, you're renewing your mind, you're refreshing your breath, you're getting recentered, because if you have that, if that tension starts to build, by not letting yourself come all the way down and inhale fully, the tension starts to build, and shoot, I was going somewhere with that. The tension starts to build. Shoot, darn it. That was leading somewhere, I promise. Anyway, well, let me go back to see and see what this says. Oh, okay. The emotional state. So the breath is a key to your emotional state. So when you're not allowing this to come all the way down and fully take in all the air that you need to get ready for the next set, that stopping soon keeps that tension. Your emotional state builds, and it starts to create a sensation of fear or panic or anxiety in your body. And I see people do this. Well, my clients, I see my clients that they don't want to go all the way down. They'll stop it here because in a sense they think that it's easier, because if you think about it, when you come all the way down, you have to restart again. So that is kind of harder in a way. So when you're stopping and not letting your arms come all the way down, it's easier because you're not having to restart again. But it's harder because you're keeping the tension there. So when you go to come up, you're going to run out of air sooner because you haven't taken in the full breath. So it creates an emotional state of panic, fear, anxiety. And most of my clients, when they do start to get to that point, it's because they're not getting enough air to extinguish that. So the fear sets in, and a lot of times they'll move away from whatever exercise they're doing. So when they curl up and they move away from it, that changes the breath too, and it actually makes it harder. So it's creating an emotional state inside your body that is like making you want to run away from what you're doing. So with the curl, you want to stay into it. So when it gets harder, I actually will kind of move into it. So it's kind of, you're confronting the fear instead of, this is hard. You start to get into that fear and panic and anxiety, and negative thoughts start to come into your mind because now you're opening yourself up to the negativity of, this is hard, I can't do this. It takes your focus off of what you're doing. And if you, and it's because of the breath. So if you're not letting your arms come all the way down, it's cutting your breath off. So then you start to lean back and it cuts your breath off more. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your curl, you come all the way down. You can still keep the tension when you're all the way down. You don't have to stop with your arm bent to keep the tension. You can let your arm all the way straight and feel, I think that's considered an eccentric contraction when your arm is all the way straight. So you still have that tension. Your mind frame is still there. So in a sense, you're not really starting all the way over from it not being flexed. I don't know if that made sense or not, or if you got that. But yeah, if you come up and then come all the way down and let your arm totally relax, then you can lose it because then you let your mind go too. So you don't want to let your mind go. So when you come down at the bottom and it's all the way straight, I think, like I said, I think it's been a long time since I looked up concentric and eccentric contraction, but I think it's the eccentric contraction that is on the stretch. So you're still feeling the contraction even though your arm is straight. It's a flexed feel with your arm straight. It's easy to flex your arm this way, but when you come all the way down and your arm is straight, you still want to keep that tension. That keeps your mind here, so your mind doesn't go away. So now you're not having to restart from the very beginning from a relaxed state. And even that brings up another point too. Even though you're getting ready to start, you don't want to start from a relaxed state and just curl up. You want to get inside your body, come down, flex those arms. And this would probably be a better video if I was showing the whole thing and had my long sleeve shirt off. But it's kind of chilly in here. But one thing that you want to focus on doing too for any muscle group that you do is before you get ready to start, get in touch with that muscle. So you don't want to just like do a curl and then curl it up and not think about what you're doing. You want to get inside your body, come down, feel your body, feel that you're in your body, you're embodied, and then flex the muscle. So with that eccentric contraction, flex it, and then from a flex state, your mind is connected to that muscle, then you curl it up. So I don't know. I think I'll read this one sentence again. So the breath is a key to your emotional state because it both reflects and affects your level of tension. Learning to breathe with full feeling gives you the ability to inspire yourself. And I think that's true too. The breath does inspire. That inhale is the inspiration. And that's the spirit too, the inhale. So whenever you're inhaling, you're taking in the spirit. You're taking in the Holy Spirit. And then the exhale allows you to lift the heavy weight. The inhale recharges you, gives you your strength to get ready to do the next rep. And that doesn't say that in here. That's just my thing that I've like been teaching for a while with my clients. And when I read this, I was like, it's funny how I haven't looked at this book in years and years and years, but probably like back in like 98 to year 2000. So isn't it funny how I folded that particular page, put it away, didn't look at it again until now. And it's like, wow, I needed to see that. When I opened to this page, it's like, oh, I wonder why I marked that. And so what I'm reading to you right now is the reason that I marked it, I'm sure. So the breath is a unifying link between mind and body. And see, I've been saying that for years too, and I don't know if I got that a long time ago from this book. I think probably that in combination with just training myself and then training other people. I started to see that it all has to do with the breath. And that breath gives you that mind-body connection. So let's see. That's really as far as I read, because after I read that, I'm like, see, I knew it. The mind and body is connected by the breath. It's the unifying link. The breath is the unifying link to connect the mind and the body. So let me see. I haven't read this yet. This will be new to me. Meditation works with the mind, but also relaxes the body. Relaxation exercises in turn work with the body, but also affect the mind. Both body and mind are intimately related to the emotions through awareness of the breath. I like that. Various approaches to well-being demonstrate the intimate relationship of the three centers: physical, mental, and emotional. Okay, I'm going to skip down a paragraph. Ultimately, we gain mastery over emotions by controlling the body. And do you guys know who else said something similar to that? And I'll have to see if I can find my notes. It's in a little notebook that I have, and I wrote it down one time because I'm like, yes, that's good. So we gain mastery over emotions by controlling the body. It was Bruce Lee that said something similar to this, and let me see if I can remember what he said, that it's like working out or the physical activity isn't about the physical, it's about learning to control your emotions. Or it was something like that. So now I'm going to be curious. I have to find that book and read what it says. But I remember when I and I can't remember if I read it somewhere or if I saw it on a video, but I'm like, yes, that's like really good. Because really, in order to be able to train really hard and to take a set as far as you can to get the most benefit out of it, I'm a believer, and you want to get the most bang for your buck. So you want to get the most out of each set that you're doing. Because to me, if you're doing a set and you're stopping at 10 when you could have done 15, you're not getting the full benefit out of the set. Because to me, it's about intensity. Intensity is what makes you grow. Intensity is what gives you results. And there's a lot of different ways to make your exercise more intense, and one of those ways is trying to take a set as far as you can so you're getting the most out of it. And in doing that, a lot of times it's our emotions, our emotional state that will stop us before we can go farther. So then that takes us back to the breath. So if you're breathing correctly, it's going to keep your emotional state calm. You're going to stay in your center. You're going to stay in your peace. And you're going to be able to take that set as far as you can. It's when our emotions start to get into that fear, panic, anxiety mode. And again, that comes from not breathing correctly. When you get into those emotional states of the fear and the panic, it's like the negativity sets in, and it's like it ends your set sooner than it had to. So it's all about controlling the emotions, and ultimately we gain mastery over our emotions by controlling the body. That's where the mastery comes in. It's being able to control your body and what it's doing in your breath to keep those emotions from turning into a negative thing. You want to stay positive about it. You want to keep pushing forward. Okay, so, and a good place to begin is to observe and control your breathing. Yes, see? I just said that. Yes, it's all about the breath. It's all about breathing. It's all about staying centered and in your body. And in order to stay centered and in your body, when the physical part of your exercise escalates, it all comes back to the breathing. You won't be able to stay centered and calm and in your peace if your breathing isn't right. So you have to pay attention to how you breathe when you work out, and being centered. It's like, to me, it's like picture a circle here, and then there's a plus sign in the center. So picture that circle being over top of your head. So I explain to my clients, it's like before you start your set, you want to be centered in your body from top to bottom, from left to right, from front to back. And when you're centered in your body, if this is a circle over your head, the plus sign is going to be right there, right? This center point where these two lines meet, that's your center. That's the center of the circle. So if this is over your head, right? If you're too far into the future, it's going to look like that, right? You're not centered. You're going to be kind of more top heavy. A lot of times that's because you're not all the way in your body. You're out and like thinking forward, too far forward with both eyes. So that'll make the cross or the plus look like this. If you're living in the past, it's going to look like that, right? If you're lifting and you're not centered left to right, you know, a lot of times your dominant side will lift more, you know, than the other side. So it's going to move the plus sign left or right. You know, a lot of times if we're using a barbell and we're curling, if we're not really centered and present and aware of your breathing and your body, a lot of times your dominant side, which most people are right-handed, they're gonna, you know, curl up the weight crooked. If you're left-handed, you know, the dominant side wants to try to take over the majority of the weight. So that's where the breathing comes in comes into play. Is that's the purpose to me of the correct breathing, is to keep this from moving And as you get farther into a set, or as you start to use a heavier weight, this is going to start to come off center. It's going to start to come off center sooner. And it's our job to always bring it back to the positive. Oh, that's cool. I never said that before. This is a plus sign, the positive. So whenever we start to get off center, negativity sets in, right? But that's how we learn. So it's like, to me, it's like a game. It's like, how far can I take this set? And that determines that, or that depends on how well I can keep recentering myself and regrouping to get another rep out, or to get another rep out, or to get another rep out. If I don't keep recentering and regrouping, and I start to move away, back, I start to move away from what I'm doing, this is going to make me fail if I can't bring that back to center. And the way you bring it back to center is you might need to take an extra breath. So it's all in the breath. Let me see how okay, we're almost at 30 minutes. We're 26 minutes. Anyway, I just wanted to, I wanted to talk about that because it was on my mind. Let me just read this last little bit to see if there's anything else. Oh, another thing, when I was feeding the horses today, something came to me. I saw a movie a long time ago, and I don't remember what movie it was, but this phrase, it might not be exactly as it was in the movie, but this is how I remember it, is within your weakness, there lies your strength sleeping. And I've changed it for me to within your peace and calm, there lies your strength sleeping. So to me, when you're doing a set, the more you can stay in your peace and calmness and the positiveness, your strength is going to be there. And that's this. And the minute you start to move away from that and start to move in a negative state, which you start to fear and panic, and you get that anxiety because it's like, oh, this is getting hard. It's usually because you're not breathing correctly. You haven't taken your time to get your inhale. You haven't taken time to maybe take an extra breath to regroup, to get another rep out, or to get another rep out. So it's like, if you're not doing that, or okay, if you are doing that, you're going to have peace and calm because you're getting all the air that you need. You're exhaling the air the stale air that you need to exhale. You're inhaling the air that you need to push harder, push farther in a set, lift heavier in a set. So if that's there, that's going to keep your peace and your calm, and you're just going to feel like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do another rep, I can do it. You stay in that mind frame. When you're not breathing correctly and you rush your inhale, or you don't take that extra breath when you need it, you're going to start to feel that fear and panic and anxiety, and it's like, oh no, I don't know if I could do this. Oh, this is getting hard. Oh, the burn is like coming in. The correct breathing actually will extinguish that burn. But if you're not doing that, the burn gets worse. Anyway, okay, we're at 28 minutes. Should I end it on that? Or should I read just a little bit more? I'm kind of curious to see what else this might have to say. Oh, yogis, Zen masters, and martial artists have all placed great emphasis on proper breathing. Yes, it's all about the breathing. Such awareness and discipline are central to the teachings of the most ancient spiritual traditions. The body-mind master, like the infant, breathes naturally from deep in the belly with slow, full, relaxed, and balanced inhalations and exhalations. And yeah, that's what it is. It's belly breathing. It's breathing from the belly. If your belly's not moving out and in when you're training, you're not going to be able to work out to your full potential. You're not going to be able to be centered, which when you're centered, that's where your true strength and power is. Because when you're centered, and you're in touch with your breath. So let me see. Let me reword that, because when you're in your body, you're grounded. When you're in back, most people are forward thinking. They're cut off from their legs, their lower body. So at least most of the clients that I train, they're kind of, when they come to me, they might not necessarily physically be that way. Some of them are. Some of them are a little bit forward physically, but energy-wise, I can feel their energy. If it's like, usually I feel it being like up and out, which kind of energy-wise makes you do that. And I'll say, where are you in your body? Or are you not in your body? And they'll usually say, some will say, oh, here or here, or out there. And if that's where you are, you need to, and most people, when they come to me at first, it's like they're in their head. So to me, it's my job to help them get in touch with their body. Because if you're in your head and your thinking is like out there on that, on this, on that, and it's like you're in your head, you're not connected to your body. So it's my job to help them to be aware of what they're feeling at the time and to find their body again. So by the end of the workout, by the end of this session, it's like I want them to be in their body, be aware of their body, have the mind-body connection, and their breath good. Because when they come to me, I feel like it's my job to send them out of the gym in a different state than they were when they came to me. Because, like I said, most of the clients that I train come to me in their head. They've just come from the outside world where they're doing things and everything, and they come to me and they're still in that state. So to me, it's not just about the physical activity, it's about getting back in the body, get body embodied, get grounded, get your breath going again, so you feel better and more aware and calmer and peaceful and cleansed. Most of them will feel more cleansed, they'll feel better, they're breathing again. Because too, if you're living in your head, have you ever paid attention to when you're in your head or you're really focused on something, how it makes you start to hold your breath a little bit and you breathe kind of here? You start to like hold your breath if you're really concentrating on something, and it's like I'll catch myself sometimes and it's like, I'm reading something or whatever, or writing something, and it's like, oh wait, oh my gosh, I wasn't breathing. That's how a lot of my clients come to me in one way or another. So it's really for them, and I've learned this over the years,